Internal documents suggest a rash of possible overdoses inside the Raymond Detention Center last month. Claims the sheriff says are false. This memo, obtained exclusively by 3 on Your Side, alleges that medical staff inside the RDC noticed as many as 9 detainees who displayed symptoms consistent with stimulant or opioid toxicity on July 9th, but only 3 emergency medical calls, were actually recorded. The memo from Major Anthony Simon, jail administrator for the county, claimed there were serious concerns about the jail's medical provider, Proficient Healthcare Staffing, LLC. Simon also alleges a nurse did not give Narcan to an unresponsive detainee named Clincy. Hinds County's interim coroner confirmed that Trayvon Clincy died at the facility the same day.
I believe that if we had up to 9 detainees that were possibly suffering from an overdose at one time, I would have known about it. And I don't have any knowledge of it. But however, I do have knowledge of, like I said earlier, that there were some issues with some possible drug overdoses or possible usage of illegal narcotics in the jail during a specific period of time. But I cannot confirm, and I think I would have known that we would have had 9 at one time.
Sheriff Tyree Jones deferred specific questions about the contract to Hinds County Board President Robert Graham. Graham refused to talk to us, with the board's attorney saying they can't talk about it because of federal litigation involving the Hinds County Detention Center.